on One, we come right up to date with the latest fashions on The Clothes Show.
Oh dear. Okay, I'm glad I've made that. Oh dear. Well, the colours of the outdoors have long been associated with the greens and browns of mountaineering and walking clothing. And today, however, although the emphasis is still very much on practicality and protection against the elements, there's a new sense of colour and style coming into the sport. So today, the Clothes Show is quite literally on top of the world. Well, we're here in the heart of Snowdonia on one of the coldest days of the year, I think. John, what kind of basic gear should a beginner have before he goes off into the hills?
Well, I'm wearing the sort of gear that somebody going in the hills for the first time would probably wear. A cheap pair of boots, a cheap cagoule, tracksuit bottoms, a lot of things you're going to have anyway, like gloves, a hat, 150. The thing is, you don't want to go out and spend £100 on a pair of boots, £100 on a Gore-Tex jacket, and then find you don't like it, particularly if your first day is a day like this.
Tell me basically what you've got to go out with and to make sure that you keep warm up there.
Well, what you've got to remember is to just wear lots of layers. I usually start with a thermal layer of underwear, either a t-shirt or a long sleeve vest. And then if you wear a t-shirt and a sweatshirt, and then perhaps a jacket and then an outer jacket as well, then if you're hot you can take layers off, and if you're cold you can put them back on again, so you're regulating your body temperature.
Is there any kind of general advice you can give to anyone wanting to buy boots for the first time?
It's better going to buy them after you've been out in the hills, when your feet have swollen up, and they are, if they're comfortable then, after you've already spent a day out there, they are going to be comfortable. Wear a thick pair of socks, loop stitch socks. Perhaps a thin pair underneath as well, that sometimes cuts down friction.
What really counts is a really good tread. It's a good tread in your boots and something that gives your ankle some kind of support.
What about you, Andy? You're dressed in something that looks like Gore-Tex, is that right?
Yeah, this is a Gore-Tex top. The advantage of this top is that it doesn't get condensation on the inside. As you sweat, you build up condensation on the inside. This material actually breathes, so it keeps you dry and inside and out.
You look about the warmest here, Shirley. What have you got on?
I'm wearing a Helly Hansen fibre power jacket, which it's made out of fibre power. It's just a fluffy fleece type thing. I think it's quite warm actually. It keeps you very warm in most sort of weathers, and if it gets wet, the water drains out quickly, so it's not very heavy. It doesn't sort of clog you up and weigh you down.
Before you point the finger and hope the whole thing disappears, remember empty words will fall and fall upon the deafest ear. You won't give in without a fight, and foul play without a doubt. No silver lining to be seen in this thunder cloud. Oh, that's not allowed in the ideal world.
Right, Nigel, what have you got on?
Well, I'm wearing a pair of Ron Hill Tracksters, which are a tracksuit light material, which are very light, and they stretch really easily, and also a pair of specialist rock climbing boots, which have a smooth friction sole for actual climbing in. And you probably only use these when you're actually rock climbing.
Sue, what do you think of the things that Nigel's got on?
Well, I welcome the move towards bright colours in the hills. For a long time we've worn a lot of traditional colours and navy blue and red, so I think it's pleasant to see brighter colours.
It is a bit bright, and there has been quite a few complaints from traditionalists about when they go and walking in the hills and see this on a crag, spoils their enjoyment for the day.
What do you think about it?
I feel quite relaxed. I feel quite individual, perhaps wearing clothes like this.
I think with everything you have to put practicality first and then the fashion aspect second.
I think you're all telling me real fib, because you all fancy yourselves immensely up there, doing your numbers.
It's a statement. It's so that you can be noticed. To be noticed. Wow, look at him. He obviously knows what he's doing. He's really a very skillful rock climber, and so he stands out on the crag. I think that's why people really wear bright coloured tights.
January, we asked you to send in photographs for our modelling competition. 16,000 of you did. And now is the time when unknown faces will be made famous and bribes will be readily accepted. Okay, everyone, get rummaging.
Say, for instance, when you get a picture that isn't very good
Can't
quality.
see it, yeah.
No,
I mean, you can't see what that girl looks like.
She's got a lovely smile, hasn't
Lovely
she?
smile.
It's a natural one as well.
She's very young, she's got lovely hair. And she looks healthy. And I think, with a bit of encouragement, she could do all right.
This girl, she's lovely. I mean, got a very sort of characteristic face, good eyes, lovely nose, yeah. And how old is she?
Photographer as well.
15 years old, you see. She's beautiful. Terrific.
Yeah. Is there kind of like a pose that's coming through when people are standing up? Is there a certain way that people think you ought to stand if you're going to be
See, a lot of leaning on the TV set.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that one,
Against the
radiator, yeah. But she's a pretty girl, this one.
We've had loads of photos. Some of them been taken in the bath, some in the garden, some in fancy dress. Some of you have even had no clothes on at all. But one thing's for certain, we've had a lot of fun looking through them.
What do you think of the general standard?
I think it's really very good. I mean, I'm really pleasantly surprised. I thought we were going to be faced with horrors. No offence to all those that have sent in. But very good, because I see pictures every single morning, and a lot of them a lot worse than what we've seen here today. She's got a pretty little fresh face. She's 17, 5 and 8, and I would say, yes, we try her. Age and height are very good. My personal opinion is eyes a little too close together, and I would say no.
Okay. Now, you've only got one picture there, and it's not a very professional one at that, so do you feel confident choosing from that?
I do, because I can see that, she's got a good jawline, she's got good bones, her nose is fine, nice mouth, definitely worth looking at.
We're getting through your photos slowly but surely, and we've been sifting through them to put them into regional heats. If you've been chosen, you'll hear from us very soon, and if you haven't, you'll get your photo back as long as you send a stamped, addressed envelope. But be patient, because we received literally thousands.
I can answer. When will I see my picture in the We're constantly getting letters from our more mature ladies complaining that we never address their problems of style, hairdressing or makeup. Well, today we're about to redress that, and we have with us probably 3 of the most characterful ladies in the land. So with me is Cathy Staff, who's almost become a national institution for the delicate way that she's played the role of Nora Batty in Last of a Summer Wine. And many hundreds of parts on and 22 books behind her, having played Kate Harvey in Howard's Way, Dulcie Gray. And looking distinctly ungrumpy today, Anna Wing, who plays Lou Beale in EastEnders. Cathy, one always thinks of actresses being very confident. Are you confident about your choice of clothes?
Yes, I think so. I'm confident, not because I'm an actress, but I choose clothes that I like and I find comfortable to wear. I like to experiment a bit. I like to buy unusual clothes, really, rather than just stick to the classic clothes.
Dulcie, does the man in your life play a big part in the clothes that you choose?
Yes. Every now and then. I have great difficulty with padded shoulders, which I like, and he doesn't like them too big. Oh yes, there are certain things that I know he's really not going to like, but I try to slip them past, but I never really get them past. So it's difficult.
Anna, you're absolutely the reverse of the character that we all look on you as playing.
Oh, that's good.
Are you the same with your clothes, an adventurer?
Oh, yes, I hope so. I'm an adventurer by nature.
So, in fact, you're still very interested in fashion, still interested in clothes?
Yes, interested in life.
Have a rummage around here, yes.
Terrific selection here. Oh, look at that. Now, you see, that looks beautiful, but if I put that on, it would make my hips look twice the size. And yet all the dresses in the shops for my size 16 all seem to have these sort of pleated skirts.
Yes, they make you look enormous,
and they make you
don't
look
they?
like a house end.
Let's get rid of that
So
one.
I
agree with you.
wouldn't have that. Oh dear, this is another one that I wouldn't have. I mean, look at that.
Can't wear that. Couldn't wear that because I've got all this dingle-dangle here. So I never...
Oh, so what, those sleeves that have got slits down here,
Or a
absolutely
bit.
out?
Oh, this is nice.
Yeah, the colour's good on.
Oh,
I
yeah.
tell you what's interesting there is that sort of peplum waist, because people think it's kind of makes you look bigger, but I actually think that could be quite slimming. How about this? Again, trousers, and we could actually take that.
That'd be great.
Do you have a sort of stab at that?
Yes, I will.
But it's actually quite, you'd think this would make you wider, but it's actually quite slimming. It makes you look very...
Well, I was going to say, I would never buy this because I would think it would make my hips look bigger.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, does it?
No, it doesn't. And the colour suits you. It's a good colour.
Oh, this looks nice. Might be kimono. What I like. Yes, you know.
That's a bit dramatic. That's sort of
Yes,
right
but you
up your
could-
street, eh?
You know, do things with it.
This is wonderful.
Yes.
I tell you what's great about that is just that shawl in lamb's wool. You could wear that with anything.
Anything.
That's smashing. And then
Anything
there's
at
just
all.
that sort of
Yeah.
small suit over the top of it.
That's beautiful.
John Frieda, you dress some of the famous heads in the country. You've brought along with you Nikki and Kevin to do our famous ladies today. How do you get started?
Well, I think the first thing, obviously, I mean, Cathy, who has really very lovely, very thick hair. And I quite like the fact that it's sleek and it's very natural. I don't want to change it too much. So what we're going to do is just trim it, take some of the bulk off the back, and just keep the same kind of style, but just not so heavy here at the front, and just basically take a little of this weight away.
So, Dulcie, what are the main things that you want me to do for you?
I want you to give me some eyes.
Yes.
I want you to get the bags away if you can. I'd like a little of this cheered up.
A little bit of that cheered up.
And I'd like my eyebrows, so to speak, they seem to have worn off with time.
So we'll fill those in a little
If
bit
you will,
for you.
darling.
Like that, like Paul Daniels, you are.
Yes, well, I feel very glamorous. I mean, the whole thing has been absolutely wonderful. I think you've done miracles here.
For many years, Grimsby was traditionally known for its fishing industry, but now this area of Humberside is known more as an important centre for petrochemicals. One particular company here has been making a chemical product, which in fact is at the start of a production line for many of the clothes we wear. It's an acrylic fibre called Cortel. This is acrylonitrile, a petrochemical and the starting point for the production of acrylic fibre, which is made here in such vast quantities that there's enough to produce 1 million jumpers every single day of the year.
It's a chemical fibre. You take a chemical called acrylonitrile and turn it into a polymer. We then squeeze this polymer through thousands of tiny little holes, rather as a silkworm produces silk, and we then dye those individual strands in the form of a bundle.
Why is it dyed en route? Because there are all different colours here, turquoise and pink and red. Why here?
Well, that's a good question, and that's the secret of our technology. It's dyed en route because it's quicker, and it's cheaper, and it's more efficient to produce coloured fibre that way. We can dye the fibre in 20 seconds very cheaply, and we use the same energy for dyeing and drying the fibre that we would use even if we produced it undyed.
You've got to be sure, however, of your markets.
Absolutely, because we're dyeing at the very start of the process. The great virtue of this neochrome system of ours is that we can dye very rapidly, and we can make very short runs very quickly in response to changing needs. So if there is a demand for a new colour, we can match that colour, put it online and dye it within a very short space of time.
Isn't it in the end a waste of the world's natural resources to have this when we could grow our own cotton in various parts of the world, or rear our own sheep here for our woolen industry and reinvigorate that?
First of all, I think that there is plenty of oil around in the world, a lot more than we thought even 10 years ago, and we use very, very little of it. So I don't have any concern that we're gobbling up the world's remaining reserves of oil. Secondly, wool is intrinsically more expensive. The economics of farming sheep are such that wool is always going to be a lot more expensive than acrylic fibre. And so wool is not going to be as widely available at affordable prices to as many people as acrylic is.
You came into Cortel in the 70s to reinvigorate this industry. What was wrong with it before then?
Well, it had, like many industries, it had matured and got a little middle-aged. It was 20 years old. The glamour had gone out of man-made fibres. The excitement of man-made fibres in the 60s was over. And we'd grown middle-aged, and our product was middle-aged, and its image was mumsy.
So what did you do to change it?
Well, we just liberated people's imaginations in the company, because we had a lot of young people who were full of ideas about repositioning the fibre, associating it with fashion. We gave them the chance, and we gave them some money to come up with some ideas, and they came up with the idea of a design award. They came up with the idea of working with top names to promote fashion with our fibre. We changed our image, and it worked.
Obviously, our first objective 10 years ago was to change the image and to work with high designer profile names and very upmarket retailers. The last 4 years, we've seen the acceptance of the Cortel name. So now how we've altered it is so that we've made it even more available. So we work with names like Principles, we've worked with Next, Warehouse, Marks and Spencer's, so everybody can buy it. So we've changed the emphasis that way. Students really are our future, certainly in the textile industry. The designers are our future. And we want to give them the opportunity to experience working in the industry before they leave college, so they understand all the parameters of the business. And also, we've realized that they, in fact, have an incredible untapped talent. And some of the retailers we work with are overwhelmed at the sort of designs they come up with. And the manufacturers, because we try and link all aspects of the industry together at the judgings, the manufacturers also astounded. So hopefully it's sort of giving the students opportunity to learn about the industry, and the industry opportunity to see talent coming through and possibly employ them. That's one of our hopes.
Last year you had Jean-Paul Gaultier in residence giving advice and also judging the competition. Was that pretty terrifying for everyone involved, or what?
It was actually. No, it was terrifying. It must have been very, frightening for the students who were working on his brief, because he obviously is a superstar in terms of fashion. But he's such a fabulous person, and he is so dynamic, and you just want to do your best for him. The students absolutely enjoyed that brief that he gave, and the work, I think, reflected it.
Normally the highlight at this time of the year is Fashion Week, but this March we're celebrating something different. The launch of a glossy fashion magazine called The Clothes Show. It's yet another first for the world's longest ever running nationally networked programme about fashion and the fashionable. The Clothes Show will be available from mid-March on bookstands across the country. And to celebrate this very exclusive event, we're joining the people from the Clothes Show magazine and a photographic shoot with Patsy Kensit.
You asked me what I want when I thought I made it clear. Although I won't stop loving you, you can never have me near. Don't blame me, I never asked you to fall. No one's gonna stop me from having it all.
Do you like clothes, or is it something that you've got to have in your profession?
No, it's very important, obviously, because, you know, if I'm going abroad and doing television in Europe and stuff, you can't wear the same thing all the time. And I do like clothes, yes, I really do like them. I mean, this particular dress is very loud. It was made, had to